The sale of the Roman Empire, 193 AD. In one of the most outrageous acts in history, the mighty Roman Empire itself was put up for sale in 193 AD. After Emperor Pertinax was assassinated, the Praetorian Guard, the emperor's elite bodyguards, decided to auction off the throne to the highest bidder. Didius Julianus, a wealthy and ambitious senator, seized this bizarre opportunity. Julianus offered an astronomical sum of 25,000 sesterces, ancient Roman coins, per guard member, effectively buying his way to power. His reign, however, was a mere flash in the pan. Just 66 days into his rule, he was overthrown and executed by order of Septimius Severus, who claimed the throne. This farcical episode remains a striking example of how power and greed can lead to the most extraordinary outcomes in history. The Mississippi Scheme, 1719. In the early 18th century, John Law, a visionary but ultimately doomed Scottish economist, persuaded the French government to establish the Mississippi Company. Law promised that the company would bring immense wealth from the vast, fertile lands of the French colonies in North America. Investors were drawn by the prospect of quick and substantial profits, and the value of the company's shares soared. However, the reality was far from the promises. The lands were not as productive as claimed, and the company's assets were grossly overvalued. When the bubble burst, it caused widespread financial ruin, affecting thousands of investors and bringing the French economy to its knees. The Mississippi Scheme is a classic cautionary tale about the perils of speculative investment and the devastating consequences of financial bubbles. The Diamond Necklace Hoax, 1785. The diamond necklace hoax was a scandal that shook the foundations of the French monarchy and contributed to the growing discontent that led to the French Revolution. At the heart of this scheme was Jean de Lamotte, a shrewd and ambitious con artist. Lamotte devised a plan to acquire a priceless diamond necklace intended for Queen Marie Antoinette. She convinced Cardinal de Rohan, a high-ranking clergyman, that the queen secretly desired the necklace but was unable to purchase it publicly due to political reasons. Eager to win the queen's favor, Rohan obtained the necklace on her behalf, only to have it stolen by Lamotte. The scandal that ensued tarnished the reputation of Marie Antoinette, further eroding public trust in the monarchy. This infamous hoax is a testament to the lengths people will go to for wealth and power, and the far-reaching consequences of deceit. Gregory MacGregor and the Poyais Scheme, 1820. Gregory MacGregor, a charismatic and persuasive Scottish adventurer, orchestrated one of the most elaborate and audacious scams of the 19th century. MacGregor created an entirely fictitious country called Poyais, supposedly located in Central America. He produced detailed maps, guidebooks, and even fake testimonials from supposed settlers to make Poyais appear real and highly attractive. MacGregor sold land grants and bonds for this imaginary paradise, promising fertile land and immense riches. Hundreds of people invested their life savings, and many set sail for Poyais, only to discover upon arrival that it was nothing more than uninhabitable jungle. Despite the clear evidence of his fraud, MacGregor managed to avoid serious punishment and continued his deceitful activities for many years. The Poyais scheme left a trail of financial and emotional devastation, highlighting the power of a charismatic con man and the vulnerability of those seeking a better life. The Wright Panic, 1900. At the turn of the 20th century, Americans were introduced to one of the first major financial scams known as the Wright Panic. This scheme was orchestrated by Charles Ponzi, but not the infamous Ponzi scheme he later became known for. In 1900, Charles W. Morse and Edwin Gould manipulated the stocks of several ice companies to create a monopoly known as the Ice Trust. They artificially inflated stock prices, leading investors to believe they would earn enormous profits. However, when the truth surfaced, the stocks crashed, causing widespread panic and financial ruin for many who had invested their savings. This scam highlighted the dangers of market manipulation and set the stage for later financial regulations. The original Ponzi scheme, 1920. The term Ponzi scheme comes from Charles Ponzi, an Italian immigrant who devised one of the most famous financial frauds in history in 1920. Ponzi promised investors a 50% return on their money within 45 days by supposedly buying and selling discounted postal reply coupons internationally. In reality, Ponzi paid early investors with the funds from later investors, creating the illusion of a profitable business. As more people invested, the scheme grew, but eventually it collapsed when there wasn't enough money to pay all the investors. Thousands of people lost their life savings, and Ponzi was arrested and convicted of fraud. His scheme became the blueprint for many similar scams in the future. The Eiffel Tower sale, 1925. In 1925, a con artist named Victor Lustig pulled off an audacious scam by selling the Eiffel Tower. Lustig, a master of deception, learned that the French government was struggling to maintain the iconic structure and decided to exploit the situation. Posing as a government official, he convinced several scrap metal dealers that the Eiffel Tower was to be dismantled and sold for scrap. Lustig even forged official documents and hosted meetings at a luxurious hotel to make his scheme more convincing. One dealer, eager to win the contract, paid a substantial bribe to secure the deal. By the time the truth was discovered, Lustig had fled with the money, leaving the dealer embarrassed and out of pocket. This brazen con highlighted Lustig's cunning and the gullibility of even savvy businessmen. The Match King Hoax, 1929. Ivar Kreuger, known as the Match King, was a Swedish businessman who created a global matchstick empire in the 1920s. He controlled the production and sale of matches in numerous countries, becoming one of the wealthiest men in the world. However, Kreuger's business was built on a foundation of deceit. He used complex financial instruments, forgeries, and fraudulent accounting to hide the true state of his company's finances. Kreuger issued bonds that were essentially worthless, using the proceeds to pay dividends and create the illusion of profitability. When the truth came to light in 1932, the entire empire collapsed, leading to financial chaos in many countries and contributing to the global economic depression. Kreuger's downfall revealed the dangers of unchecked financial manipulation and the need for stringent regulatory oversight. The Baker Estate Swindle, 1936. The Baker Estate Swindle of 1936 was a notorious scam that preyed on people's hopes of inheriting vast fortunes. It all began with a group of con artists who spread rumors about an unclaimed estate worth millions belonging to a fictitious millionaire named Jacob Baker. They claimed that anyone with the Baker surname could be entitled to a share of the fortune. The scammers charged heirs a fee to cover legal expenses and to process their claims. Thousands of people, desperate for financial gain during the Great Depression, paid the fees. The scam fell apart when newspapers exposed the fraud, but by then, the con artists had disappeared with the money, leaving countless victims with empty pockets and broken dreams. The Brooklyn Bridge Scam. The Brooklyn Bridge Scam is one of the most famous examples of the old saying, "If you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you." In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, con men like George C. Parker and William McCloundy sold the Brooklyn Bridge multiple times to unsuspecting immigrants and tourists. They convinced their victims that they owned the bridge and that it could be a lucrative investment, especially for setting up toll booths. The victims often didn't realize they had been scammed until the police informed them they had no legal claim to the bridge. This scam highlighted the audacity of con artists and the gullibility of their victims. The Great Insider Trading Scam, 1986. The Great Insider Trading Scam of 1986, also known as the Ivan Boesky scandal, was one of the most significant financial frauds of the 1980s. Ivan Boesky, a prominent stock trader, made millions by trading on confidential information about upcoming mergers and acquisitions. He paid insiders at various companies for non-public information, which he then used to make profitable trades. Boesky's activities were eventually uncovered by the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, leading to his arrest. He was fined $100 million and sentenced to prison. The scandal shocked Wall Street, leading to stricter regulations and reforms to prevent insider trading and restore trust in the financial markets. The Savings and Loan Scandal, 1989. The Savings and Loan, S&L, scandal of 1989 was one of the largest financial frauds in American history, costing taxpayers billions of dollars. Savings and loan associations, which were originally established to provide affordable home loans, became deregulated in the 1980s. This deregulation allowed risky investments and poor management practices to flourish. Many S&Ls engaged in fraudulent activities, such as inflating the value of assets and making high-risk loans. When these ventures failed, the federal government had to bail out the failing institutions, costing an estimated $160 billion. The scandal led to the failure of over 1,000 S&L institutions and resulted in numerous criminal prosecutions. It highlighted the dangers of insufficient regulation and the potential for widespread financial corruption. The Enron Bankruptcy, 2001. The Enron scandal is one of the most infamous corporate frauds in history. leading to the bankruptcy of the Enron Corporation in 2001. Enron, once a high-flying energy company, was found to have engaged in widespread accounting fraud to hide its financial losses and inflate profits. Executives used complex financial instruments, special-purpose entities, and off-the-books partnerships to obscure the company's true financial health. When the fraud was exposed, Enron's stock plummeted, and the company declared bankruptcy, wiping out billions of dollars in shareholder value. Thousands of employees lost their jobs and retirement savings. The scandal led to significant changes in financial regulations, including the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, aimed at improving corporate governance and financial transparency. The Madoff Pyramid, 2008. In 2008, the world was shocked by the revelation of Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme, the largest in history. Madoff, a respected financier and former chairman of NASDAQ, had been running a fraudulent investment operation for decades. He promised consistent, high returns to investors, which he achieved by using new investors' money to pay returns to earlier investors, rather than through legitimate investment strategies. The scheme unraveled during the 2008 financial crisis when Madoff couldn't meet the redemption demands of his clients. The collapse of his $65 billion scheme caused massive financial losses and ruined countless lives. Madoff was arrested, tried, and sentenced to 150 years in prison. The scandal underscored the importance of regulatory oversight and investor vigilance. Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos. Elizabeth Holmes, once hailed as a visionary in Silicon Valley, founded Theranos in 2003 with the promise of revolutionizing blood testing. She claimed that Theranos' technology could run comprehensive tests using just a few drops of blood, making diagnostic testing faster, cheaper, and more accessible. Holmes attracted high-profile investors and board members, raising billions of dollars. However, it was all based on deception. Investigations revealed that Theranos' technology didn't work as claimed, and the company had falsified test results to mislead investors, doctors, and patients. In 2018, Holmes and former Theranos president Ramesh Sunny Balwani were charged with massive fraud. The scandal brought to light the dangers of unchecked ambition and the lack of rigorous scrutiny in the tech industry, leading to a reassessment of startup culture and the importance of ethical business practices. Remember, scams and frauds can happen anytime, anywhere. Staying informed and vigilant is our best defense against such deceitful practices. Always question offers that seem too good to be true and verify the authenticity of the information you receive. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history's most outrageous scams. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories from the past. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.